The LWO has been back for way more than a year and a half now, and I think this is as good a time as any to talk a bit more about it. The original group didn't last as long as the rebooted one, but I think the originals are way more iconic, and for a few reasons. Before we go any further, I would like to say I don't think that this is the fault of the talent, I don't hate the new LWO, and I don't want the new LWO to go away or anything. These are just some thoughts and some observations. But if there is a thesis statement for this video, I would say that the new LWO suffers the most from a lack of an overall mission and some bad luck. The purpose of this video isn't really a history lesson on the old LWO. There are plenty of videos on YouTube that have done that already. However, there are some key moments that should be discussed in this video that will paint a clear picture as to why the old LWO is remembered so fondly, despite not really being main event players. From the moment the original LWO formed, the group had a clear mission and a sense of direction. On the October 5th, 1998 episode of WCW Nitro, Eddie Guerrero would make an appearance during a match between Hector Garza and Damian 666. His appearance ended the match, and Eddie posed a question to both men in the ring. What has Eric Bischoff done for you? Eddie would go on to talk about how the luchadores are always just wrestling each other and never given an opportunity to move on up the card. Additionally, Eddie claimed only people with their noses up Hogan's ass are the ones getting the money, and that those people couldn't tie the luchadores' boots. Then he made his pitch. United we stand, divided we fall. None of us can do it alone, but together, La Raza, a Latino world order. Eddie handed Garza and Damian the shirts, and the faction was born. The rest is history. The faction would continue to grow larger, recruiting the rest of the Mexican luchadores in WCW with the same pitch. You are fantastic wrestlers, and both Bischoff and WCW aren't giving you a chance to reach the top and make some real money. Of course, the viewers could see what was really happening, and so could Rey Mysterio, who was very reluctant to join the group and constantly rebelled against Eddie. This rebellion would lead to a really good program involving Eddie Guerrero and the LWO against Rey Mysterio and Billy Kidman, the group's only major feud. And one thing that I would like to say about this feud is that it had some fantastic matches. The best two being the triple threat match between Rey Mysterio, Juventud Guerrera, and Billy Kidman at Starrcade 1998 for the WCW World Cruiserweight Championship, and then the follow-up tag match on the December 28, 1998 edition of WCW Monday Nitro. Throughout this entire feud, we get some really good characterization for Eddie, how he's really using the LWO to advance his own interests, and how his activism for the Mexican luchadores is really just a way to raise his own stock. He's selfish, but he's charismatic. And while the other members started seeing it a bit at the end, this part of the story ultimately ended up being a loose end that went unaddressed. The group would make it through the new year and then disband on the January 11th, 1999 episode of WCW Monday Nitro. This wasn't just a decision from above. You see, Eddie was in a pretty bad car accident and injured for 6 months, so they ended the group quickly. It was like a week of NWO beatdowns, and then Ric Flair asked them to disband and take off the shirts, and they did. But Rey Mysterio did not. That would lead to the storyline of Rey losing his mask, but it also was just kind of a cool symbolic gesture looking back at it now. The one that wanted to be there the least was actually the most loyal to the group in the end. And Rey Mysterio was also the one who revived the stable back in April of 2023, which is another cool little callback. Anyways, it's time we actually talk about the new LWO. From its re-debut, the group has lacked a big goal. The original was formed because Eddie Guerrero felt like the luchadores weren't getting any support and opportunities, and this modern version doesn't really have that. The modern LWO has been involved with a couple of big feuds, teaming with Bad Bunny and going against the Judgment Day a lot, and having Santos Escobar leave and reform his own crew. But without that overarching goal, it doesn't really feel like they're any different from when they started. They haven't really made any progress towards anything. And that's not to say that there weren't moments where I thought maybe they'd get somewhere. When Santos betrayed Rey, I thought maybe this was going to be a big shakeup, but ultimately nothing really came of that. They had a tag match at WrestleMania, which was more so used as the big celebrity appearance, with Philadelphia Eagles linemen Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson saving the match for Rey and Andrade. The entire feud of Santos and the Legado del Fantasma versus Rey in the LWO just lacked a satisfying blow-off. And I get it. Every WrestleMania needs that corporate synergy between the WWE and a celebrity for the city that they're in. But, I still think that it sucked that this was the match that needed to happen. I've always thought a heel turn for the LWO would really help them out. I think they would feel a lot cooler for one. But the big obstacle I see there is that there's already a lot of heel stables in the WWE. There would be even less space for the LWO to stand out. And, that's not really their fault. I get it. Maybe someday in the future, though, Dominic can take over and get things really popping. Who knows? This is kind of like the bad luck that I'm talking about. There's always bigger priorities. But, it's whatever. I get it. I'm also a little biased as to the aesthetics of the original group as well. I think the 90s had some really cool choices in fashion, the main one here being that the group would often come out with the LWO t-shirt tucked into some light wash jeans, wearing some boots and a nice belt. And to me, that is a timeless look. I'm a big fan of it. In terms of in-ring, there's not really any issues with the new LWO. Like I said, I think the talents are all pretty solid. I've seen a lot of clips of Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro doing some really awesome stuff. Add that to the amazing things that Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee can do, and it's obvious they're awesome in the ring. The perception online, it seems fine. I've seen a lot of people joke that all Latino wrestlers will end up in the LWO, which doesn't really make that much sense if you think about it, since the older group had way more members, and there are other Latinos in the WWE that are not in the LWO. However, I could see that criticism kind of being tied back to the lack of a big mission for the group. A face Latino wrestler doesn't have anything to do? Well, why not put them in the LWO? It's not like they're doing much anyways. I hope I'm proven wrong, and the LWO starts rallying for a cause and gets their big moment, but, ultimately who knows what'll happen. What do you think? What would make the LWO more interesting for you? Let me know down in the comments below. And thank you again for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.